So welcome to the Tualatin Historical Society's April program, April of 2021. And our agenda for today is to review and to show some secret stuff on this great new webpage that we built. This program is being recorded and is going to be on our webpage. And our webpage, since I'm mentioning that, is no longer tualatinhistoricalsociety.org, but rather tualatinhistory.org. And I challenge anyone listening today or in the future to go try to find tualatinhistoricalsociety.org, because we've done a pretty good job of scrubbing the internet with the help of a great guy named Matt Klinke, who made this all possible through grants that we received. During the pandemic, we, at the urging of one of our board members, go out and get some of that money, and we did. And we paid him to make this possible. We're so proud of the results. And we included in that process, one of the things that came up was that tualatinhistoricalsociety.org is just too long to type in. So we polled the board members, and we just decided it. There's other organizations like Tigard, for example, who just shortened it. And if you just type in Tualatin History in Google, you're going to find us. We've made it possible that it's going to be the top hit that you see when you come to us. And so with no further ado, I'm going to start by saying that we're going to go through each of these sections. And when I'm finished with Learn and Explore and the Heritage Center, I'll take a pause to see if there's any questions, because there may be along the way, and hopefully I can answer them. And I'm going to start right here at the top with this search button, which is really cool. And the amazing thing about technology, it learns on its own. And we have to put in the keywords, we have to make it happen. But the cool thing is that a lot of this stuff is already starting to happen. So the first name that comes to mind for me, for example, is Lois Martinazzi. So if I just type in Lois and I hit enter up here, because I want to know what on here is about Lois Martinazzi, of course, you can see all the little things that pop up. But look at all this stuff that's on the webpage about Lois Martinazzi. There's about her. There's an oral histories that she talked about. Here's something, this is a recording she did about Tualatin history. This is a newspaper article. This is about the book that she wrote, on and on and on and on and on. So that's all there for you to look at. And you can always hit home, or you can always hit Tualatin, our icon up at the top, and you can go right back to the home page, and boom, there you are. Okay. Now, looking at the web page itself, you can see that up here, we have a couple of key stories that we do. These are largely things from articles, because the thing we have the most is articles that we have in our libraries. So we give that a prominent place, but also our calendar. And I'm really proud of this. Over here, you can look at a calendar this month or the following month, and you can see we're going to go back to March or go forward or whatever. And you can see, let's just go back to March and see. Boom, we click on the short and beautiful life of interurban transportation. And here you can actually see what we did in the past, or you can go into the future. I'm going to click the link to go back to the thing. I'm going to take just a time here to make that go away. I had all of your pictures up there, which was a distraction to me. And we're going to go forward into May, and you can see, click on the link. And you can see from the calendar, coming in May, we're going to have Jack Estes, who is a Tualatin resident. He's going to be talking about, in honor of Memorial Day, Vietnam War Reflections. He's an author. He has a book, couple of books, and you'll be able to do that and go back to the main page again. And the calendar will be very handy as we get past this pandemic. It'll be populated with a number of things that are going on, even some of the mundane things that happen. It's not fair to those people who do those things, but whether it's the ladies who do artwork or they're quilting or whatever, it'll be here on the calendar for everybody to see. And down below, you'll be able to see the recent programs that we had. This was Carlos Horcos, who had been a resident of Tualatin. I think he just moved down to Canby recently. And you can go there and you can see, we talked to Carlos because on the 100th anniversary of the city of Tualatin, he did some watercolors. Well, we took advantage of Carlos, and we're clicking on that link here. And what you can do is you can actually pull up, if it comes up quickly, if my internet is fast enough, you can see that program. I'm going to fast forward in that program a little bit so we can see. If your internet is as slow as mine, you'll have the same problem, right? And we're reviewing some of the watercolors that he did. Okay, we're going to go back to the main page, but you can pull up the videos from those past programs. And so those are the recent programs, but also what we have on that first page where you're landing, we have recent oral histories, and we have recent things that we've done in the news. These are articles that have appeared in local newspapers, including Tualatin Life and Tiger Tualatin Times. No matter where you're at, always at the bottom of the screen, you can have information about visiting us and about us as an organization, and of course about membership. We're always plugging ourselves. But we're just going to go back to the home screen, which you can do at the bottom of every screen. You can make that happen. Okay, so let's go to the first one of these groups. And the first thing is about us as an organization. There's a little bit of history, including Karen Lafke and Lois Martinazzi, who are the founders. There's some information about them and what inspired them to found the organization. We have plugs throughout the whole thing, so you can just get to where you want to go from shopping, and we'll take a peek at our store before we're done. Of course, there's the board members, but also the presentations that we put together for the membership and also the city. Remember that the Tualatin Historical Society the Heritage Center is a partnership with the city of Tualatin. So we have to give them an annual update on what we're doing. They provide us with a little bit of funding every year to keep us going, and we're grateful for that. And we make this presentation to not only our members, but also to the Historical Society. So last year, for example, let's click on this. It's coming up, I think. There it goes. It's firing up. It's a PDF. And so you could actually go through this program that we presented last year. Okay, let me get out of that, I think. Okay. Hang on just a second. I'm in this dang thing and I'm talking, and okay, am I back? Everybody back? And you can see we're back here, and here's the board, all of our beautiful board members. Not only information about the board itself, but actually around the center itself. There's Cindy, our manager. Okay, and we want to go back to that home page, so we're going to click on that, and let's see what's next. Members, we have a special site just for members. We are an active organization. In fact, I can take this opportunity now to announce to you, as I did to my board this morning, that we were contacted by the city of Tualatin, and for the second year in a row, the Tualatin Historical Society was selected as one of 3 volunteer organizations of the year for the city of Tualatin. And on Monday night, we're going to be at a city council meeting where we'll be honored. There'll be a recording of that, and we'll put it, of course, on our webpage. So we're really proud of doing that. So here's some of the benefits of membership and what we do. There's a list of all of our members. We couldn't do anything without our members. So we're really proud of what they do. Volunteers. One of the reasons that we were recognized by the city of Tualatin was our volunteers. And there's all kinds of pictures scrolling across the top there. Thank you, Matt, for coming up with that nice little slideshow. And there's the things that we normally need volunteers for. And here's some special things that we're looking for volunteers for. Okay, and again, anytime you see our logo, you can click and you can go back to the home and donate. It wouldn't be anything without asking for some money. The nice thing about this donation page is we take this opportunity to recognize our scholarship winners. The scholarship is really something, one of many things that we're incredibly proud of, that recognizes the scholarship the funds that are raised within our organization to provide scholarships to young people. This past year, there were a couple of winners, and you can even click here and you can go back and you can look at past winners as well. And the membership form, we've shortened up considerably because we found that people didn't want to fill out the whole thing. Okay, so that's that. Let me see what else we have to do here. Donate, celebrate. We like to celebrate members' accomplishments. This has to do with the annual awards that we give at the Tualatin Historical Society. This past year, the President's Award went to Lois Roby, and the Lafke Martinezzi Award went to Michael Antonelli. And if you come to the webpage, you can read the background on what the specifics are. And here we celebrate those scholarship winners again, and also past scholarship winners. So we want to make sure that we recognize all of those people that have made tremendous contributions to our organizations, and also those scholarship winners. Finally, in this area, we have a suggestion box, and we have gotten ideas from this box. What do you think we should be covering? What are the programs in the future? What is an article we can put in our quarterly newsletter? And we love getting these messages because they give us ideas. And sometimes we just have idea shortages, and we love the opportunity to take your ideas and turn them into actions. So that's the Learn section. Are there any questions about the Learn section before we get to the really fun part? Okay, I'll stop at the end of each section in case there's something that comes up. Explore. Now let's do a deep dive into these programs. Here's the programs. Stuff that we put at the top, we're particularly proud of, things that have happened recently. We mentioned Tom in the beginning. We'll click on him. There he is. There's the Cowboy Poet. And here's the recording we're talking about where I skipped over Tom's first thing.
Just did the most important thing you can do, which is pay attention and clap. And I truly appreciate that. And those of you that are watching wherever you may be, as Ross said, you can clap with your little fake emoji hands. And you can clap wildly and enthusiastically wherever you are at the time. People will look at you oddly, but you just tell them you are being entertained. There you go. All right. So it is a real pleasure for me to be here tonight. And
okay, so there's all kinds of videos, including Tom on there. I encourage you to watch that one. That one was a lot of fun. But as you go down, you'll see, and this is true of all of the items in the Explore area, including programs and photographs and in the news and oral histories. Once you get past some of this main stuff, you can come down here and you can go backwards. This holiday traditions, and you can also go forwards, go backwards again, and you can just kind of page back and forth through the programs. Now, coming back to the program thing, in addition to that paging back and forth without having to leave the page, at the end of this page, and actually 3 or 4 other pages, and I'll show you, you're going to be able to see not only the programs that are highlighted, but we haven't been able to put everything on the web page yet. This is still a work in progress. So after you get through all these great programs, you'll say, oh, what else is there? When you see this bookcase with these books in there, discover more stuff in the attic. In this case, this is the program addict. So we're going to click on that. And here's a list of all the programs that we have available on video, or sometimes they're not available on video. There's maybe photographs or something, for example. And we have that attic available in a lot of sections. And I'll show you when we get to those some examples, especially when it comes to oral histories and articles. We have just a ton of stuff that's available. So programs, let's go to photographs. This is, I think, one of the most fascinating parts of our new web page. We have a couple of columns here. First is today's photographs. And then there's the yesterday photographs. It's 3 pictures going down on each side. So let's take something from today. Let's just take images around Tualatin. These photographs have, for the most part, been taken by Stewart. And he has worked with us for 4 or 5 years now. And he's been a godsend to us. And he just goes around town and taking pictures. We have a lot of work to do in this section, because what we want to do is we want to identify each of these photographs and say what it is and when it was taken. And in many cases, we have information, and in some cases, we don't. So we have a big job ahead of us in terms of doing that. If I go back to the main photographs page again, we also have yesterday's photos. And this is a gold mine. I'm talking literally thousands of photographs. I think in total, some 4,000 pictures. And we've tried to group them into categories we think you would find interesting. So the floods, it was one I put on our email blast this morning. Let's go to the floods. Now, these are roughly in chronological order, but we go down through here and we can see, let's take a picture of this. I think people who are familiar with Tualatin history recognize that as Meshitas today. that building with the VFW up above, let's click on that one. We're curious about it. Let's click on that and let's see. You can see maybe in the fine print down below, it's really small on your screen that I'm showing you. But it says the 1937 flood, Tualatin River intersection at Kirkpatrick store and feed store. There are people standing in front of the store. So a lot of the historical photos, thanks to Ken Stinger and the people who have helped him, have made that possible to identify what photo you're actually looking at. Now, going forward, we will actually want to try to sell some of these pictures. We haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, but many of them will be available for sale in the future. But we have so many historic photos that we're just going to click the back button here and come back to the photo page. And you can see the different categories. There's the Mastodon, the police and fire. I know Yvonne Addington's a big fan of the whole police and fire thing. So let's click on that. We can see there's all kinds of pictures. If you see a picture that's interesting to you, police and fire, it's THS 2299. Maybe you can't read it on your screen because it's too small, but if on my screen, because you're looking at my screen, but on your screen, you'll be able to see that. You can click on that. It's not much of a description, but fire department and fire truck. If you see something that you like, let us know. Just reference the number that's there. Again, Ken Stinger has made sure that all those things have numbers, and we hope to do the same thing on the modern side. Okay, so you want to see more of today's photos, you can click on that, and you go to a whole big library of stuff. And going back, you will see at the bottom of yesterday's photos, you will see a same thing where you can see more of yesterday's photos. So huge library of photos between today's and yesterday's. There's something around 5,500 photos, something like that. It's amazing, and we're so proud to make those all available to the public. And it was really one of the major goals when we decided to build a new web page, to make sure that all of that was available to you. In the news is the next thing in Explore. All the news that's fit to print. If you're old enough, you kind of get what that title means. Here's some articles we're particularly proud of that we think you should read. And there's more. Keep in mind, though, as we scroll through all of these, some of them appear on our homepage because we promote them to be on the homepage. We scroll through them. This is the first newspaper from Tualatin High School. That's cool. But again, you get to the bottom and you see that news attic. Here's another attic. Let's go take a look. And here we can see all of the articles. It's sort of catching up with me, so it's putting pictures in there as I'm scrolling. There's one of living legend, Yvonne. And well, let's just click on that one since I know she's watching today. If you click on that, it'll actually bring up the story. It's the story that actually appeared in the newspaper originally. And we can actually read about why Yvonne is a living legend. So going to the attic, in 4 or 5 of these sections that we have inside of the Explore section, we actually have an attic, and it has literally hundreds of things that we were unable to get onto the web page because we just wanted to get the thing launched. As time goes by, we'll get more and more things onto the web page. But in the meantime, our attic's not so sexy, but we just wanted to share it with you and show you that it was in the pipeline. Oral histories. Many thanks to Sandra Lafke and the many people who Sandra Lafke Carlson and the many people who preceded her to make these possible. Take a look at the oral histories. Here's some of the showcased ones. Here we kind of review by year. These are only the ones that are on the web page, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second. So here's the histories. You can also filter by a name if you're looking for a particular name. And as I said, once we move them from the attic onto the web page, that's going to get more and more populated. Okay. So here's another addict. So let's go to oral history addict. Let's look for something that's not on the, not all of these are actually recordings. Some of them are just audio. Not all of them are video, I should say. Some of them are just audio, like I know that Bob Newcomb is just an audio. And some of them are just the transcripts of what was a recording at one time, but we may or may not have that recording anymore, but we still have the transcript. And we make sure that we put, even if it's just a transcript, we put it there. Look at all these oral histories we have. We're so proud of these. There's over 100 oral histories that we have.
Website.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing more. Pandemics put a little cramp in our style, but that's the attic for oral histories. Okay. Come back up here to the top. Around Tualatin. This is another idea that came out of something. I didn't think we were going to do this, but as we built the web page, it was somebody's idea. In our first email to you, we sent you a picture of this, but this is really cool. Let's go ahead and make this bigger so you can see it better. On this map, which is, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. On the plus sign, there's historic houses, treasures of Tualatin, and the Tualatin Historical Society, highlight things. Let's just make it only, I'm gonna uncheck stuff, so it's only the historic houses. These are the historic houses in Tualatin. We actually have, thanks to Kirk Krause, he worked with some funding from Meridian Park Hospital, developed a walking map, which is available online. I'll show you that later, but you can also pick up a hard copy at the Heritage Center. Here's all the historic house. I'm going to pick this one right here because it happens to be close to where I live. Elmer House. We'll pick that up. I'm going to click on that link, and there's the Elmer House. There's a picture of it, and there's the description. Built in 1914. The architect is unknown, and there's some more information about it. Let's just pick another one just at random. I don't know which one this is, but let's just pick it. The Logan House. Home was constructed in 1917. Logan was the station manager. Oh, this is the one that's at an angle. This is set at an angle so he could better observe the trains and so forth. So you can go, even within getting out of the comfort of your chair, you can march around Tualatin, or if you want to march around Tualatin, get the map. Either online print it or stop by and see it. Okay, so what else is in this Tualatin section? We have information about the mastodon. We have some aerial photographs of Tualatin. Let's click on that for a second so you can see. There's modern day Tualatin and also from 1956. So there's photographs, and those will expand so you can see them better. What else is in Tualatin? There's a water trail map, which Tualatin is an important part of the Tualatin River trail map. You can print that off. There's information about the parks. Centennial edition of Tigard Tualatin Life. They printed, Tigard Tualatin Times. They printed a centennial edition to celebrate our 100th birthday. And you can see the whole edition there. It's also available in hard copy at the Heritage Center. This is the Greenway, which is really a big deal. It's not complete yet, but it's a good start. If you haven't walked the Greenway, I invite you to do that. And of course, more information about the Mastodon. So all kinds of good stuff there. And there's another attic to go find out more information about Tualatin. For example, in there is a chronological listing of the park development within Tualatin. Paul Hennon played a huge role in making sure that we had great parks. It's one example of other things you can find in the Tualatin attic, okay? Again, we're gonna click this icon so we can go back to the Explore thing. And local resources, we're really proud to do this for our partners. And they include Willamette Valley, the whole Ice Age project, and also the Ice Age Floods Institute, which we share a program with the third Thursday of every month. Look at the calendar to find out what's happening there, and other organizations that help us, and we help them. And you can link actually to theirs, the Oswego Heritage Council. Mark Brown from that organization is going to have a presentation in June about growing hops in the Tualatin Plains. And that should be a great program. We're going to publicize that. We're also going to record that and put it on our webpage. So we're awfully proud to promote those organizations on our page. Any questions about exploring?
Yes. Can you hear me, Ross?
I can.
I want to ask a question about the photographs. Are they copyrighted? And if we wanted to download them and use them, can we do that?
I think Ken is online. I think the answer is yes, they're not copyrighted. Ken, would you agree with that? Ken Stinger, are you still there? I think Ken's. I'm not gonna close my page to go back to see if he's online.
I'm online. You got me?
Yes.
Okay. You could probably transfer them to your home page just by sliding them off, but they're not going to be high quality. They'll be fine for if you just want to look at them or put them in a newsletter or something like that. But to get the high quality ones, you'll have to contact Cindy.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, and thanks for reminding me about that, Ken, because I had forgot. This was a discussion that we had when we were building the page. Remember, Ken, during those frantic months of January and February, and we decided to make all the photos available, but the highest quality images, we're kind of keeping in back because we hope to sell some of them, but for the most simple of images, like you'll see on the web page, you can certainly have them. Okay, is that a fair answer?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions about exploring? Or, yeah. Okay, now we're going to go to the Heritage Center itself. About the Heritage Center, which is a big part of who we are. It gives a little short history of the Heritage Center. We're in the process of putting out the 3rd edition of Tualatin from the beginning. It's been out of print for a couple of years. And in that edition, there'll be a longer version of this story, but you can find out the amazing story in that book when it comes out. Here's a short version of that. Yeah, I think most of you understand that the church was moved from Lower Boones Ferry to where it is today next to the police station. And just a little bit of background on that. And we wanted to make sure, oops, look at that little ad popped up. I love it. We did this too. Sorry, but when you're there, we're always going to be asking you to become a member or donate. It doesn't happen too often. We don't want to be irritating, but we like to remember people. I'll just close that. Okay. Visit. This is about how to come to us, where we're located at, our hours of operation, just kind of basic stuff that I think every web page has something like that. And here's our store. You can see all the books that we have for sale. We also have bricks for sale that we're in the process of putting into the new walkway and eventually the patio out front. Here's all the books that are there in the center. Tualatin from the beginning, as I noted, it's out, 2nd edition. The 3rd edition is well underway and has been approved by the board to fund that. And we have a couple of people, Rick Wheelock is doing the editing to make that a reality, because we did not have an electronic version of that, which is required to print. And we also needed to expand on chapter 11, because this book's history ends in 2005, and our history in 2021 ends with the pandemic. So there's a lot more history to add there. So it'll be a longer book. It'll be more than 196 pages, but we're going to have that for sale. Of course, there's our famous jam. There's a couple of things that aren't on here. One is we have some note cards from the local artists. I mentioned Carlos Horcos, who did some watercolors for the 100th anniversary celebration. And he agreed to allow us to reproduce those for our membership drive, and we'll have those. And there's a new book called When the River Ran Backwards. An intern, Jamie Ditzel, came to us. She was an amazing young lady, and she wrote the story that Lois Martinezzi had promised her father would be written about the blowing up of the dam on the Tualatin River. And it is a great book. It's going to be delivered like today or tomorrow, some of them, and some more are coming in next week. And that book is going to be available for sale. These things can be bought online. You just click the, getting ahead of myself. We also have all kinds of great CDs, I should say DVDs. These are actually videos that are for sale. They're discs that you put into your video player that you can buy. And also the I Wonder book, which is about a child's book about the mastodon. And you can place an order online. As of right now, we don't have a paywall where you can pay online, but you can just indicate how you would like to pay and we'll get a hold of you. Was there someone who wanted to ask a question? I hear some. Okay, I think it might be time. Nope, there's the store. Of course, we talk about renting because rentals are one of our largest sources of revenue. So we have this agreement with the city that will make this facility available to the public. And we talk about the rental fees and how you can rent. And here's another contact form. Typically, these contact forms are answered within just a few hours of when someone makes a request. but we love to rent out the center. We're always looking for volunteers to help us monitor, because when it's someone we don't know, we have a monitor there. We have to make sure the integrity and the respect of the building is kept in place. So we would be nothing without our Heritage Center. Exhibits, we're proud of this section as well. There's a couple of things that aren't on here yet, which I think will always be the case with our new webpage. There'll always be something that's not quite there yet. But we wanted to show you online some of the exhibits that are, we can take a look. Let's take a look at the garden. Most of the things I've passed by, we'll wait for the pictures to come up. Most of the things I've passed by have a link. It's still spooling, it's waiting. You can take a walk through the garden. Most of these things I've passed by have links so you can get more information inside. Oh, we were going to the garden. It's an extra step we might not need. I think I did it by scrolling too fast. Let me just wait. No, oh, it's not coming up. Okay, let's look inside. I'm making a note. That might be a little buggy there. Oh, I see. I had to scroll down further. I don't like the idea of having to click that then scroll down. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna have Matt fix that. So here's inside. You can see all the displays that they have, and there's a brief description of what we have to see. And then here's the outside. What we have outside, and what we have in other places too, like the Galbraith wagon, which we restored some years ago and is now on display at Lee Farms. Here's all the plants that we have and some descriptions.
Wow.
Of those plants. So I'm going to click this icon so I can go back to the home page. And so those are the exhibits, both inside and outside. And back to events, which you can get from the calendar, or you can just click from the main page as well. And you can see all the upcoming events. Well, this is what we're doing right now. A tour of the webpage. And I have to tell you, let's click on this one. All these things are clickable. You can, okay, that's Curtis Brothers and the Mazamas, but let's click on that. Let's find out more information about what that's all about. Well, this is going to be the history of the Mazamas, if you're familiar with that organization. This is an evening program in concert with the Ice Age Institute. And next week. You know, is it next week or is it the third?
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
15th.
Okay, I got the Thursday the 15th. I got to get cracking. I got to get some information out to the members about that. I can send them an email. And so a funny story about this is that we coincidentally just found out that the Mazamas had in their library a 1915 Tuala.
I'm in the middle of Zoom.
Sorry?
Oh, I'll call you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. They have a 1915 Tualatin High School yearbook. It's named the Tuala. That was the name of the yearbook back then. And they have agreed to move that from their collection to our collection. So to say the least, I'm really happy with the Mazamas. It's an interesting organization who they're founded largely to make sure that they protect the wilderness in Oregon and everything. And I encourage you to watch that presentation. But everything you click on, you can see more information, or once you finish viewing it, as you can on most places in the webpage, you can just go forward or backward to see more information. And here's Jack Estes' favorite son, who will also be doing that. I'm going to click forward because I want to see what Mark Brown from the Oswego Heritage House is going to be talking about. It's there. And in all of these, they'll either have the link itself, or they'll have a little click thing where you can actually request a Zoom link so that you can join. So, as always, you can click either home or you can click the little icon and you can go back to the home page. So all kinds of incredible, cool stuff on our new webpage. It's constantly under construction in the background, unbeknownst to you. And with that, I'll just take a breath and see what other questions we have.
A question about the calendar.
Yes.
Can you just click on the squares? Is that the idea? And it will tell you what event is happening on those days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You can just look at, I'm going to bring up May right now and click on that. And we'll go right back to where we were before about Jack Estes and his presentation. So go home and go to the calendar again. And let's click an empty box. And there's nothing there, nothing going on. Let's go back in time. Let's go back a couple of months and see what's going on.
So
there
how
we
do you,
had
how do you know if
Go ahead.
if there's something scheduled, Ross, is there something filled in the box?
If there's something scheduled, it will be on the calendar.
Okay. So would there like, I'm seeing photos of these two people on this calendar.
Right.
That would tell me that something is scheduled on those days. Is that?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Otherwise, the squares are blank.
Right.
Okay.
As we move forward, some of our regular programs will appear on there. I don't know, maybe not the Sunday church service when they come back, but the programs that are interesting, I don't know, a lot of decisions are yet to be made. But if you look back in February here, if you hover, it gives you a brief description, but that typing is so small, I can't read it. So I'm going to click on it because I wanted to find out what it was about, but this is in the past. So, oh, it's not clicking. Okay, we're learning all things all the time. So let me do it this way. I'm going to go back to the programs. Yes, to answer your question, is there something in the square? There's something happening that day. So
Okay.
I'm going back to the programs because I was hoping that what would happen is when I clicked, I would get this right here. And I would say, oh, I missed that program. It's Maria Reyes. She's the councilwoman. And I'm a big fan of hers because she's from Honduras.
This way
and
you
my
can listen.
brother-in-law.
Everyone, I am very happy to be here, and I know that even though we're
So I can actually listen to Maria Reyes and talk about her family.
government and had a huge argument and
So yeah, the answer to your question is if there's something in the box, there's something happening that day. And even if it's in the past and it was recorded, you can find it on our webpage.
Are all of the programs recorded?
No, especially historically speaking, we did not record that many programs, to be honest with you. In fact, if you go to the attic for programs, let's do that real quick. Explore, programs. We're going to go to the attic. You're going to see that there weren't a lot of programs in the past that were recorded.
Okay.
But going forward with this new technology that we have, I love this one, Her Story. If anybody hasn't watched this Her Story thing, you should do it. But we do have a lot. We should be proud of what we have, and I am proud. There's a lot there. But going forward, what you're going to find is that we're going to record more and more programs because it's just so dang easy to do.
It is. And then you have them, you can put them on the website.
Exactly. And that's our job, to preserve, protect, and promote the rich and colorful history of Tualatin. It's just that now it's so much easier to do. So With very few exceptions going forward, we plan on recording stuff. Any other questions? I think I'm gonna take it off of the sharing so I can come back and look at who all's here and make sure I get all of your faces on the recording. And I can always go back if there's another question. I have to say, while you're thinking about any other questions, that when I got the phone call yesterday to tell me that the Historical Society had been selected for the second year in a row as a volunteer organization of the year, that Jackie Cohen from the city, who contacted me, mentioned three things, and that was for their logic, why the city selected us, is our ability to continue to be active, to continue to keep members involved, and to continue to even raise funds during the downturn, and we did. And we were able to raise money, not only through grants, but also through your kind donations and your generosity that made this possible. It wasn't horribly expensive, but it was some thousands of dollars to put this webpage together. And we're not done yet. As you can see, because of the addict and because of other things, we have more work to do. But the membership, you and others, made it possible. And I know the board members are also incredibly grateful that you saw us through, and especially now that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're a better organization for it. I think that we did things that we may not have otherwise done. And I think that, come this summer and going into the fall, we're going to be an even better group with more content and more things to share with our members because we went through what we went through. So, anything else to add or contribute? As Larry mentioned, next Thursday, we have that great guy from the Mazamas. We're going to be taking that 1915 yearbook. We're going to be making copies of it and putting it on our webpage. We have a place to put stuff now. We also, in our picnic in July, if we're able to have one, we're going to have a copy of one laminated, not the original, but we'll have some pages out there so you guys can see that kind of stuff. We have no shortage of ideas right now, only a shortage of volunteers. So if somebody has some special talent or even no talent at all, look at me, no talent at all. If you have something you think you could bring to the table, we'd love to hear from you.
Ross, thank you very much for this introduction.
Yes, ditto.
Really inspired me. I'm going to really mine the heck out of it, and it would be a lot of fun. I can see that.
You can spend hours there. I'm telling you, go through, especially some of Ken Stenger's old photographs. Oh my God, not his, but he has been kind of the guardian angel of them for our organization. And you're going to be amazed at how many have descriptions. Some of them still don't, and some of them may never. But that itself, you could spend a couple hours going through some 4,000 photographs, I think. Yeah, you're on mute, but
I want to ask another question. Boy, I seem to be just full of them.
That's okay, Nancy, go ahead.
Did the email address change for the Historical Society?
Well, we've never really had an email address per se. What email address are you thinking about?
Ask
at tualatinhistory.gmail. Ask at Tualatin. No, what is it? Ask about.
Ask about.
Ask about. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
No, that's still good. That's still valid. I monitor that all the time.
But did it used to be something else? Not that it
I don't
matters.
I don't think we necessarily ever had one specifically.
Okay.
But if you send something to askabouthistory@gmail.com, you will be answered within a couple hours of sending it.
Okay. I'm not
Okay.
worried about that. I was just confused about, because I think
Yeah.
originally I was communicating with Larry.
Yeah, Larry, he may not answer in 2 hours, but he's a gardener. So what are you going to do about that?
I might be out in the garden, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can send it to that. And even if you fill out any of those forms online, whether it's a membership form or a donation form, or you have an idea form, or I want to rent a facility form, and there's, I don't know, 7 or 8 different forms on there. If you send those, they automatically generate and get sent to us immediately. And I've had forms come in at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm not awake, but by 5 o'clock in the morning when I am awake, I'm able to answer them. So
Nancy, if you've got another program working up, just put it in that idea box.
I would love to do one. And I was gonna say to Ross, somebody that was at the one that I did a couple of years ago actually did a video of it. And I would be happy to send it to you
oh, please.
for whatever, for posterity or
Absolutely.
because I'm sure it wasn't recorded, but this lady recorded it and she sent it to me. So it was on the history of the Tualatin Country Club.
Oh, we absolutely want that and would love it. We would take anything like that. If it's
Okay.
if it's too big to send, I'll come by and get it. If it's or you can upload it to one of those drop boxes or something like that, or you can just email me offline and we'll figure out how to get it.
Okay, I'll follow up on it, Ross, and somehow I'll get it to you.
You get it to me and it will be on our homepage within days of you getting it to me, because we're always looking for new content.
I'm open to bribes.
Only thing we can't get on the website would be Margie Jones cookies she used to bring for programs.
A recipe?
Cookies. Margie, I see Margie on the screen here. She's a great cookie maker.
She's on mute. She doesn't want to brag about her cookies.
Tom Swearingen, did you have a comment or a question a few minutes ago?
It was going to be a comment, not a question. I was just going to congratulate you. That's a really well thought out website.
Absolutely.
What a great resource. So congratulations on all that were involved in putting that together.
Thank you, Tom. That means a lot coming from you. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that's it. There's some hidden things there. I didn't cover everything because I knew we had an hour. But I'm telling you, I go back and I find things I didn't know were there, especially when looking at some of the older articles and oral histories and photographs and that kind of stuff. And there'll always be something new because we have so much material to cover. And we're going to keep on generating new material because Nancy's going to make sure of that.
So Ross, I see Diane Barry on the screen.
Yes.
Some of those oral histories were done well before I was involved, 30 years ago or whenever. They did oral histories in those days using a cassette tape machine. Yep. And several folks went out and did these oral histories. And then people like Diane, but her name is on several, typed transcripts of that interview in hard copy, which now are on the website. So for some of those oral histories that are way back, you type or you punch the button for that person, you'll hear the words spoken by the person, but then you'll see the typed transcript. If something wasn't clear exactly on the tape, it's probably there in the typed transcript. Now, those are not being done now. That's a laborious job. Take an oral history, even on video, but now to type it into, I don't think we have the technology quite yet to make that happen. I guess the software is available, but it's sometimes hard to decipher even those, and when it gets transferred over to type. But anyway, just point that out.
Yeah. A couple of things about that is that thanks to Pacific University 3 years ago, I'm losing track of time, the pandemic has messed with my head. A lot of those cassettes that Diane and others were involved with, they helped us turn those into digital recordings. And those cassettes, although the quality is not fantastic, they are actually in the attic, and they will eventually make their way into the webpage. Some of them we only have the transcript for, but many of them we actually use the cassette tape itself to make a digital recording with the help of Pacific University, and it's on their site as well as on ours now. So thank you, Diane, for doing that. You had no idea that you were a pioneer back then, but they're there. We got them. We got most of them. And the second thing is, Larry, we have the technology, and I'm investigating that right now, that as we do these meetings and as we're talking, we can actually have subtitles appear on the screen as we're talking. And they may not be 100% accurate. And if I say Larry, it may come out Lori, I don't know. But subtitles are possible now on Zoom as you speak, and the recording will capture them. So once I've mastered exactly how to do that, future programs will actually even have subtitles there too. And once you have subtitles, once you have that text, then Katie bar the door, because all that can go into text, which makes it searchable. So me just saying Larry in a meeting makes you show up when I do a search on our webpage that you were in this video on this day that people can watch because I mentioned your name or mentioned a Larry, not necessarily the Larry. So there's so many exciting things we haven't even begun to do yet. Okay, what else? It's 2 o'clock. I love ending meetings on time, as I'm famous for or infamous for, but I'd be happy to take any more questions because we're going to record this, and somebody else may have a question that you're thinking of, and we should record that.
I think Penny's cat wants to be a member. She keeps trying to get on the screen here. And I wish maybe the cat is wishing to know about any animal stories we have in the website, but I can't remember any right now, except crawfish.
Someday when we have time, I'll tell about working with the Grand Ronde tribe and the discussion we had about whether crawfish or crawdad should be on their information sign out in front of the Heritage Center.
Mm.
That was another discussion that will take me 15 minutes to go through. We'll save it. So I'm very grateful for you all joining today. And I'm going to stop the recording before we finish our meeting. So if that's it, I'll just stop recording. And thank you all. Recording is officially stopped. I think. No, I don't know if I stopped it or not. Anyway, doesn't matter. Thank you all for popping in, and we'll see you hopefully real soon.
Great idea, Ross.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.